Guys of a Certain Age is brought to you by no one. Absolutely no one. Except these dudes walking down memory lane. Now let's head to the studio to see what they misremember next.
It's the podcast that changes its mind as much as the weather changes in Mississippi in March. It's Guys of a Certain Age alongside
Jay Reed.
Art's not there, so
You didn't say who you were, so you threw me.
Yeah. I'm Robbie. Everybody knows me at this point, right? Robbie Koblentz alongside
Jay Reed.
That make you feel better?
It does.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, because there's no Art, because today is Art's retirement luncheon.
It's like a succession of parties he's having.
Good grief. When I stop doing this, nobody's going to give a darn, you know? I mean, it's going to be, you're not working anymore?
Yeah, I'll be like, Jay's not here. Give me my medicine anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you and I are both immediately replaceable. Apparently, this is almost like something from Westeros, where you got to go through and you have the whole succession battle sort of thing. I mean, that kind of goes with maybe what we're talking in the second half, but
hopefully there's no burning on a pyre later. Or for him.
Well, that's Lord of the Rings.
Well, a lot of cultures burn as you retire. Retire from life.
Retire from life.
Yeah,
retire from life.
Yeah,
so anyway,
he's not going to do that. He's just getting started.
We may never see him on this podcast again. So we may have to have a rule that you're not imminently retiring to be on the podcast if we have to get an additional person. So anyway. Let's jump into Geeks of the Week. Who wants to go first?
Art does, but he's not here.
Wow. So the spotlight's on you, Jay.
Spotlight is on me. Well, I jumped into something just this morning, and I'll report back and let you know how it works. But so far, it's looking good. Since we've talked about cooking a lot lately, I thought this would be appropriate. And I sort of had one of my many existential crises in this age in my life.
One of your many.
One of my many. From the quiver of my existential crises is I've got probably, I think I counted them one time, it was 100 plus cookbooks. And I have them all for a certain reason. Either I've met this person or the subject matter interests me or whatever. But the confession part is when I want a recipe, usually I'm not near them.
You go to the internet.
I'm Googling. Yeah. So I thought, and I hate that because I've spent a lot of money on these. They're signed and they're interesting reading even, but they just sit there.
Yeah.
And, Melissa's tired of me pulling other things out of.
You could remove the pulling things out of. It could be Melissa's tired of me.
Well, yeah. Tired of me buying books and adding that to our home is what she said.
Yeah.
What we get down to. But, so across my Instagram lately, there's been an ad for something called the CookShelf app.
Okay.
And I decided to give it a try. It does cost money. So we'll see. I've got the 2-week trial starting this morning. But what you do is you scan the barcode of your cookbook.
Okay.
And you can scan, it says there's, over 100,000, whatever. They probably won't have all of mine, but because,
Bell's Best is probably not going to be
right. First Baptist, WMU from 1973 is probably not on there. But for the most part, your commercially printed cookbooks are there. And I have a lot of those too.
Yeah.
So you can scan the code and it draws in the recipes. Yeah. It doesn't pull in the recipe itself, but say like I just did. I've only put one in. It was Erica Council's Still Rise cookbook, which I use a lot for biscuits. And so I scanned it this morning just as a test. And so you can go in, you can scan, like you can search an ingredient. So if you got a bunch of blueberries, you want to do something blueberry, you type in blueberry, and it pulls up all the recipes that have blueberries in them, and you click on it, like blueberry lemon jam is one of the things in Still Rise, and it gives you the kind of the core ingredients. You can make comments, but it doesn't give you the recipe. It gives you the page number of the cookbook so that you.
Okay.
For me, it's helpful because instead of going to Google and looking for something something new to do with my broccoli, I can type in broccoli. It'll pull up all the recipes from my cookbooks.
Yeah.
That have broccoli in them, and then I can choose one and I can go to that cookbook and actually use the cookbook that I purchased already.
Okay.
And then cook from that rather than going to, wherever, allrecipes.net, all that kind of stuff. Although that's valuable. I'm not dissing internet recipes by any means, but I want to use the cookbooks that I have. And I think this will be a good way to do that. So I'm going to give it a try.
It's a meta index of what you own.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So CookShelf. And it's somehow connected to something else called Eat This Book or something. It's got a combination, but I didn't have that, so I don't know really how it ties in. But in any case, CookShelf, and it's like I think $4.99 a month if you do it monthly, and $40 a year if you do it annually. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a full year.
Do a full year,
yeah,
and see if you actually use it.
And you can do things like set goals or how many recipes you want to make over the year, and you can take pictures and that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit interactive besides just the search index.
So it becomes a meta search engine for you, and you're not going to throw away cookbooks because it doesn't contain the recipes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So it's limited. I'll actually have to get the analog copy of my cookbook.
So this does nothing for Melissa's wanting to streamline and get rid of things.
No, it just means that I will actually be using the things that are taking up the space instead of them just sitting there.
This is an excuse maker for you is what it is. A justification.
A justification, I think. You know.
Wow.
Look, I'm scanning this cookbook.
Look, honey.
But you can't just, you made a good point. You can't just go into a bookstore and scan all the barcodes and have all the recipes. Yeah. You've got to have the book.
That is a very clever way to get around copyright infringement. So, do you remember the old Bell's Best cookbook?
I got it. Yeah. I've got one.
Yeah. We've got one too somewhere. I mean, my mom swore by it. There's a ton of stuff, and it's the old kind of beige yellow, thick. It's a Times Roman, font.
It's so thick. Yes.
Yeah. Crazy. Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. So I actually have two geeks.
Shock.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm gonna pull Art's weight here. So
that's true.
We were in Vegas a couple weekends ago and did the F1 experience at the Paddock Club.
You talked about that last week.
Did I talk about that last week?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
So you just have one, or are you gonna?
Yeah, I just have one. I will say, go see the Eagles. I said that last week. I know.
Yeah.
So, have you got any interest in seeing the Eagles in Nashville when they come through?
In Nashville? Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I have interest.
Yeah.
I just don't have time and
don't have time.
Schedule, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the concert you try to help me see this weekend. It's just the timing.
I'm going to probably block or snooze a few people in my Facebook feed this weekend because of what I'm going to miss Sunday night. But I've forgotten about that. Thanks, Jay.
So sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sad about it too because I couldn't go.
Yeah. So I actually was able to sell those tickets, which is great.
That's good.
So the Russ Taff, it's Russ Taff and Steve Taylor. So Jay and I went to a Russ Taff listening party 2 years ago. Bonnie and I went and saw Russ Taff perform, which was great. So I'm imagining what he's doing, what Russ is doing, what he did then is what he's going to do here. The thing I'm sad about is the Steve Taylor part. He's going to do his old stuff.
Same.
Anyway, well, so since that geek, I was a guy of a certain age and completely forgot I talked about it last week. I probably need to get that episode edited today and out. So anyway, a little inside baseball. So Warner Brothers is developing a Game of Thrones movie focused upon Aegon the Conqueror. So if you know your Game of Thrones history, Aegon the Conqueror was the Targaryen who basically conquered Westeros with dragons. And so he's the namesake that other Aegons are named after. And we may talk about them in a little bit later. But Warner Brothers is pushing forward. Now, we didn't talk about this last week. If I did, correct me if I'm wrong. But the Netflix Warner Brothers deal is dead. Did you know that?
I did know that. I can't remember if we've discussed that or not.
I don't think we discussed it, but the Netflix Warner Brothers deal is dead. Paramount has the highest and best bid. So the Warner Brothers board of directors has accepted Paramount's bid. pending any antitrust issue. Yeah.
I loved what Netflix said about it. They're like, for this amount of money, we thought it was. I wish I could remember the exact quote. It was like, it was either a good deal, but it wasn't a must deal. It was that something like that. Like for this amount of money, it was a good deal. For that amount of money, we don't need it.
Yeah, and Netflix has been pretty cross. They've got a sand in the line that they will not cross,
or a line in the sand.
Yeah, sand in the line in the sand. The sand's in Vegas, whatever. Because they've got their budget formulas, right? And so they're going to produce a show for X amount of dollars, and regardless of if it doesn't get a certain metric of viewership within a certain amount of weeks, regardless of if it's critically acclaimed or not, it will not be renewed.
Not see a season 2. Yeah.
So played trivia at Dave Starcourse. Shout out to my buddy Dave Hood. Dave Starcourse, best pizza in town, best Chicago style pizza in town. Phenomenal. One of the trivia questions last night: what was Netflix's first original programming? Do you know what it was? It was a TV show based upon a British television show.
I probably recognize it, but I don't know right off.
Starring Kevin Spacey.
Oh, is it House of Cards?
It's House of Cards.
Okay.
That was Netflix's first original development, and they put all their chips in on that one, because prior to that, they were just streaming movies or TV shows from other providers, and
they were sending me disc in the mail.
You disc in the mail. But House of Cards was it. But anyway, the Paramount. The thought is the Trump Justice Department is a lot more open to Paramount buying Warner Brothers than Netflix buying Warner Brothers. And just kind of reading a few things. Well, it's because the guy who owns Paramount's a buddy of Trump's.
Oh, okay.
It's the speculation as well. But it's probably a little bit better fit. And one of the things that Paramount has said that if this goes through, they'll fold the HBO Max app into the Paramount Plus app.
Wow. Okay.
So, and Hulu's going away. Hulu as a standalone app is going away this year as well.
We mentioned that.
We mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
So we're back to streamlining again. So Hulu, which if you have a Hulu Plus subscription already and you have Disney Plus, the two subscription APIs talk, and it allows you to watch Hulu content on Disney, which is a little frustrating for me, because if I watch Hulu content on Disney and forget that I didn't watch it on Hulu and I go to Hulu to find it, it doesn't share stop points.
I've noticed that too.
Yeah. They don't care anymore. It's going to go bye-bye. But there's an Aegon the Conqueror movie being developed at Warner Brothers, and Beau Willimon, who is known as the showrunner, one of the developers for Andor and the aforementioned House of Cards, it's attached to it as a writer creative. And
so you said Aegon the Conqueror, as we may discuss later, I don't have all the GOT background, but I do have the House of Dragons.
Yeah.
So
it takes place way before House of Dragons.
Before. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No.
Because there's, I guess, okay, so you said this already. There's multiple Aegons.
This is the original Aegon. And so what happens is the House of Targaryen is descended from old Valyria, and they bring dragons, and they come to their little island, and the Westeros is 7 kingdoms, right? Mm-hmm. And so Aegon the Conqueror,
or is it?
Yeah, or 11, depending on. But Aegon the Conqueror has a vision of the White Walkers and the threat from north of the Wall. And so he tells that to his wife and child, and it passes on down. You get to House of Dragons where, the House of the Dragons, the first king kind of messes up, and as he's dying, and it starts the House of the Battle of the Dragons. Anyway, Aegon the Conqueror says, okay, if we're going to fight these White Walkers and what's coming from the north, we have to unify the entirety of this peninsula that's known as, I guess it's not a peninsula, it's an isthmus known as Westeros, into one kingdom. And so he takes the dragons and his family, and they conquer, and that's why he's become Aegon the Conqueror.
Okay.
So,
So this would be like the earliest story coming out of that
so
world.
it's being billed as it's being envisioned billed as a Dune-sized feature detailing the origin of the Iron Throne.
Okay.
So Henry Cavill. Yeah.
Like Gavel.
Yeah. Cavill is being rumored to play Aegon.
Okay.
So anyway, pretty fascinating
So
thing.
you have white hair.
Yeah.
Done a lot of the...
Well, if Matt Smith can put on a wig, Superman. If Doctor Who can put on a wig, Superman
Well, I
can
guess
put
he
on.
kind of looked like that in The Witcher a little bit, right?
Yeah. And there's been a bunch of AI generated stuff,
Of course.
trailers, which don't look bad, but you know. But anyway, that's the official word, is that it is in development.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's going to be a movie, which probably going to be a 2.5 hour.
I would think it'd have to be almost.
I would, yeah. So
That used to be special. Now it seems to be every other.
Project Hail Mary is 2 hours 40 minutes, which as this drops, you would had the potential to see it the night before or the day that this drops. So, are you going to go see Project?
I want to.
Yeah, I definitely want to go see it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the book on an app so I can maybe try to listen to it before the movie.
Yeah.
But it's
The early reviews are just sterling. Just everybody seems to think it's great.
Yeah.
So,
I'm very interested in seeing it.
yeah, and a lot of practical effects.
Mm-hmm. I think we talked about no blue screen, no green screen,
Yeah, no purple screen.
actual aliens in the building.
Rocky is a robot.
Right.
So anyway, three of us should go. We'll get to the end of the row. I think Bonnie wants to go see it. So, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
A retirement celebration movie.
Yeah, that almost. Do you remember Logan's Run?
Vaguely. I mean, I don't.
Basically, if you remember Logan's Run, you had this little jewel in your hand. When you turn 30, it starts blinking. Well, in the movie, that's in the movie. I think in the book, it's when you turn 21 and the Sandmen come out to kill you because you've aged out. So,
Gosh.
I almost feel like we're talking about Art's retirement, like a Sandman should come after him. So, anyway, all right.
Jealous.
We're going to take a break. We're going to talk Night of the Seven Kingdoms up next. And we're back. We're going to journey back to Westeros. And we're going to talk Night of the Seven Kingdoms, or the Night of Seven Kingdoms, or the Knights of the Arabian Kingdoms, or something like that.
Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I believe, is the official.
So, Jay, you didn't watch. Did you watch Game of Thrones originally?
I watched a few episodes of season 1 and then didn't get any farther. And I would like to see it. I'd like to have that background. But it's just, if it was 3 seasons, I'd be all in. What is it, 8 or 9 seasons?
7 or 8 seasons.
7 or 8. Yeah. That's a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I maybe one day I will, but it's not on the top of my list.
When you get to art level and you retire.
Well, yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
So, but you've watched House of the Dragon, correct?
Yes, I've watched all of that so far.
And you've enjoyed that. That's only
Very
been 2
much.
seasons.
Yep.
And then, so HBO has produced A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and based upon Sir Duncan the Tall, who is a hedge knight, and his squire Egg. So it's a series of short stories that George R.R. Martin came up with called Duncan Egg, and Sir Duncan the Tall and Egg, his squire, are name checked in Game of Thrones, and they're somewhat of a legend because Dunk is this chivalrous, honor first, and he's got his little squire Egg, who turns out to be Aegon the Unlikely, a king of Westeros. So
They called him Aegon the Unlikely?
Aegon the Unlikely. So,
Okay.
because
you could be king, but it's unlikely.
because his older brother essentially abdicated the throne and took the Black and went to the North Wall to be part of the Night's Watch so that his brother could be king, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And his brother, and the brother that abdicated, is actually in Game of Thrones. He's the maester at the North Wall in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
So there's a little continuity there. But the short stories are one-offs. They're a lot of fun. There's several of them. There's different Dunk and Egg tales. But as someone who's got a little Game of Thrones, Westeros, George R.R. Martin background, what did you think of?
Well, several things. Loved it. I loved it overall. Reasons. I don't think I didn't have to have any background to enjoy it.
None whatsoever.
Having seen some, I recognize a few names and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have made any difference. I would have enjoyed it anyway. I think spoiler alerts as usual, but this is not really a spoiler alert because there's more stories out there.
Yes.
So there's a point where you think Duncan could very easily die here in the next few minutes. He doesn't. And I knew, he's going to come out of this somehow. So that was kind of encouraging because it didn't look good there for a minute.
Yeah.
I just like that era of show than the Knights. And I think the more we get, the more technology there is, the better they look.
Yeah.
That's just with anything in this genre and a lot of other genres. So it was just a good story. It was kind of, the only thing I didn't like, I think there were some quick scenes that were there that just didn't add anything to it.
Like what? Do you remember?
Well, when I forget what the guy's name, the knight that Duncan worked for.
Oh yeah. The hedge knight that trained him.
Yeah. He comes out of the cave and uses the bathroom and it added nothing to the story.
Yeah.
And there was something else. There was a couple things like that. First episode, he's sick.
Yeah. And you see,
and I'm like,
from all ends,
I'm not seeing what the point of that is.
Well, part of me thinks it sets up, you not having seen Game of Thrones, that particular one with Dunk, which was kind of gross, and sets up that he's a hedge knight. He's a commoner. He's trying to do the best he can, and he takes his vows of being a knight incredibly seriously because any knight can make someone a knight. And so he's a hedge knight, which means he has no house or castle that he's associated with. He sleeps under hedges. Okay. And so I think what they were trying to do with that was to establish the anti-nobility of Dunk.
Well, they did.
Yeah, both with him and whoever I forget his knight's name who trained him, and just how, they were the misfits of Westeros. And so that was a lot of fun.
His name. But aside from that, I can live with certain things if they add to the story.
Yeah.
But to me, I can see your point there with the sickness, but the other thing, I don't think it really added anything to the story.
He was not a very noble guy.
No.
Yeah.
Was it Sir Arlen or Sir Raymond? Sir Arlen of Pennytree. He's the one.
Yeah. Harlan.
Well, it says Arlen on IMDb. So.
Yeah. That would be, with the British accent, it's probably Harlan. So, yeah. So,
but it was kind of nice also to see some. I can't think of, off the top of my head, I can't think of any actors that I really knew.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know anybody.
New to me for sure. There might have been one or two that popped in that were recognizable, but and I don't know if that was because they were British and I just, British TV and stuff that I don't notice, but.
Well, I think HBO Warner Brothers has missed a big opportunity to get a sponsorship. They should have had Ben Affleck pop up as the Dunk Kings. How great would that be?
Yeah.
That's a tie-in that would just be absolutely hilarious.
Well, there's something like that. Maybe not the Duncan tie-in, but, some more cameos like that, or recognizable faces might come in the second or third stories because it's established and like some other shows have done.
This is one of the highest rated seasons of a Game of Thrones franchise. Period. I believe it. 6 episodes, all incredibly strong. They told the tale. Were you surprised about Egg's identity going into?
I was. I was.
Yeah. And the little kid who plays Aegon is he's fabulous.
Oh, he's terrific. Yeah.
I love the part where Dunk tells his squire, who he picks up on the road, if you leave me, I'm going to send the dogs after you. Woof, woof. And then later, Duncan says, you wait for me. And the egg goes, woof, woof. The chemistry between the two of them are great.
Yeah. Yeah. He's perfect for that, for the role.
Yeah. And the way that the story goes, Aegon's father, who was the crown prince of Westeros, saw how his two older sons were turning out and was taken with the nobility of Sir Duncan the Tall, and says, will you please let my son squire for you so he can learn? Mm-hmm. And that was, to me, that was really, really cool. And I think Aegon the Unlikely becomes one of the better kings in Westeros history. So because he had someone, a commoner, teaching him and taking him about. So
yeah, and my understanding is Dunk really never was knighted, correct?
Well, so that's what I was saying. So Sir Arlen knighted him,
but no, he didn't. That was one of the whole points of the story, was that he never actually knighted him before he died.
So
he kind of had to.
I guess that was a fever dream where he comes back and Arlen, kind of knights him and just like, I guess,
Yeah, I don't think he actually got knighted.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of the point. One of the points of the story was that he was faking it.
Very Don Quixote.
He should have knighted him.
Yeah. But very Don Quixote-like. He is tilting at windmills of honor across Westeros, and he is defending the little folk. So, almost a Robin Hood vibe. So,
yeah. Saw that too, yeah.
Yeah. The episodes are 30 minutes to 50 minutes. Easy watch.
Yeah, I like that too, because as I mentioned a week or two ago, there's so many things that I want to see.
Yeah. And
it was enough.
Yeah.
It was enough to give a good story, move on to the next thing, look forward to next year whenever the next one comes out.
Yeah.
So I generally like a little bit longer.
Yeah.
A couple episodes, but I like the short.
Left you wanting more.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
A Song of Ice and Fire is a very, very dense mythos. And that was one of the criticisms of Game of Thrones, which the series is named after the first book by George R.R. Martin, A Game of Thrones, was there's so many people, so many places, it skips about. And the way Martin wrote, each chapter was from a viewpoint of a certain character, or not. It wasn't first person; it was third person. But it's swapping to different characters, and you could get lost without some sort of index or glossary or whatnot. One of the things to me about A Night was you did not need to know that dense mythology. You didn't need to know pretty much anything about Game of Thrones. We talked about how accessible it was, and they explained the things that you needed to know, like the Battle of Seven that they did, and there was just a couple throw off lines there. And, as someone who doesn't have a deep Game of Thrones knowledge, did you feel like you were missing anything?
No, not at all. No.
A lot tamer, not nearly as gross from a dismemberment standpoint, except for one scene, which was kind of sad because I'd forgotten that character does die. And just so much fun. Just a lot of fun.
And the characters themselves, not just Dunk and Egg, but the guy that fought on his side that had the antlers for a crown. And, I'm trying to think. And then his buddy that was the squire for another night that helped him out. It was just character rich.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to go back and rewatch, and I need to probably grab some Dunk and Egg stories, and
I probably could read that, or if I could find it. There's another. Just throw this in. I've been an advocate of the Libby app, which is used for the library. But my son-in-law Charlie introduced me to something called the Hoopla app.
Hoopla.
Hoopla.
Yeah.
And it's very similar. You put your library card in.
Yeah.
But it seems I was able to get a book or two so far through Hoopla that I wasn't able to get through Libby, even using the same credentials. So I'm hoping that there's a little bit more limit on it, on how many things can be downloaded. But
so are you doing like print books that you're reading or books you're listening to?
Audiobooks. They have both, but I'm doing audiobooks. Yeah.
Yeah. I've just never gotten to audiobooks.
Well, let's do them on the way to work.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Because you work 18
I have
million
like
miles.
3 hours left of Wheel of Time.
The volume 1. How many hours was
Volume 1, 33 hours.
What do you think so far?
I'm not sure. I'm going to have to see how it plays out in these last 3 hours. But
the thing for me about Wheel of Time was it became very formulaic, and it had lots of Lord of the Rings influences. And that, you go into, what is it, Three Rivers Valley? Is that what it is? Two rivers, add a river, bonus river valley. And you have these innocents who are very much like the hobbits who get flushed out to go
save the world or not. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. You probably never read The Sword of Shannara, did you, by Terry Brooks? That was one of the first New York Times bestsellers that was a fantasy book. And it was a blatant ripoff of Tolkien. I mean, across the board. You're going for a sword instead of a ring. And so some of the fantasy from late 70s to early 80s, mid 80s, I have a hard time with because it's so blatantly copying what has come before. That's one of the things that was so appealing to me about A Song of Ice and Fire, George R.R. Martin. At the end of book 1, spoiler alert, of course, it's been out for 10 years, the main character gets killed at the very end of the first book, and the very end of the first season. And you're like, oh crap, no one's safe.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, because you would think that,
well, actually, I read the first book. So
yeah, you would think Eddard Stark would be your protagonist throughout. Nope. One of the trivia questions at Dark Horse last night is, what season did the Red Wedding take place in? So, season 3, Game of Thrones. You never got that far.
No.
It was pretty brutal.
But back to Dunkin' Egg, I mean, you don't need all that. You've got a standalone.
All you need is this podcast.
That's right.
That's it. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, standalone, easily accessible, very enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, in those moments that I mentioned that I thought were excessive and not necessary, they're few and far between.
Yeah, there's only a couple.
Those two that I mentioned were in the first episode. Yeah. There was another one maybe later with some nudity that I thought, okay, what was the point here?
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's pretty, unless you don't like seeing swords go into people.
Yeah.
It's pretty clean.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of language, and I might have mentioned this earlier. The actor that plays Egg, I saw him doing an interview where he basically said, I really don't like to cuss.
Yeah.
But it's part of the part, and here we go, I'll do it. But, I really don't enjoy that at all. So
it's kind of like Delightful Derek from the last season of Stranger Things. And he's like, I got to cuss. I had a cuss card. I could cuss. I don't talk like that. My mom would kill me if I did that, but I got to cuss. So
that's funny. So, aside from that, it wasn't too rough.
Yeah.
Whereas what I remember from what I saw in Game of Thrones and what I've heard, it was quite rough.
When you're throwing a kid out the window.
Right. Exactly. So,
Jaime Lannister.
So I like that bit about it too. So I hope they'll keep that up.
Yeah. Yeah. So highly recommended by Jay.
Yes.
And myself as well. I think Art's in the middle of it right now.
He said he's enjoying it so far.
Yeah. So he said it was, I said it was excellent. Excellent is what it was. So. Yeah, kind of scrambled up our text message there. So anything else you want to talk about, say?
All good.
Absolutely. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll see you next time around.